I never used to believe in evil, not the kind that lingers, that waits, but I do now. Back in college, I lived off campus with two other guys in a cheap duplex near the edge of town. It was the kind of place where the floor slanted, the heat barely worked, and the landlord only showed up when the rent was due. But it was cheap and close to school. We were surrounded by woods and, weirdly, a series of old drainage tunnels. Huge concrete tubes that ran beneath the ground and dumped runoff water into a creek behind the neighborhood. As kids, people used to dare each other to go into them. Most didn't. But we weren't kids. We were broke and bored, and when my roommate James found an opening behind our backyard, half buried in leaves and brush, we thought it'd be funny to explore it. The entrance was about 5 feet high, wide enough to walk through if you're hunched a bit. James and Tyler were already daring each other to go in. I stood back, hesitant. Something about it felt off. The air pouring out was cold and stale, and the inside just swallowed the light. Still, I followed. We only went maybe 200 feet in. The tunnel curved slightly, so daylight vanished fast. James had a flashlight and Tyler had his phone light, but the further we went, the more air seemed to press in. It was dead quiet, no dripping, no wind, just the sound of our footsteps, breathing. At one point, James whispered, "Do you guys hear that?" We stopped. There was something. A faint scraping sound, maybe metal on concrete, way down in the dark. We waited, but it stopped. "Probably rats," I said, but I didn't believe it. We turned around. None of us wanted to admit we were scared, but we didn't go back in again. Not that week. But that wasn't the last of it. That night, I woke up to a noise, something metallic, like a manhole cover being dragged or dropped. It sounded distant, maybe from the woods behind our place. I looked out the window but saw nothing. The next day, we found muddy prints on our back patio. Bare footprints. Human. We laughed it off. Maybe a drunk neighbor, maybe a prank. A few days later, I started noticing small things in my room had been moved. My closet door would be cracked open when I swore I closed it. I kept hearing thumps in the ceiling, like something crawling between the walls. I told myself it was squirrels or maybe raccoons, until the night I woke up to breathing. Not mine. Something else right next to my bed. Deep, slow, breathing. I froze. I didn't open my eyes, I just laid there, convinced that if I moved, whatever it was would know I was awake. The sound eventually stopped, and I must have passed out from the sheer fear. In the morning, nothing was there. My window was still locked, door closed, but the footprints were back. This time inside the house. I told James and Tyler, and they admitted they'd seen some weird things too. Tyler swore he saw someone watching him from the tree line behind the house 2 nights before. Pale face, no expression, just staring. We called the cops. They looked around, found nothing, told us to lock our doors and not go exploring in the damn sewers. And for a while, things calmed down. Then one night, James disappeared. We had all gone to this party, but James left early, said he had a headache. When we got home, his car was there, but he wasn't. His phone was on his nightstand, his wallet still in his jeans. All the doors were locked from the inside. The back door, though, the sliding glass one, it was unlocked. Police searched the woods, the creeks, even brought dogs. Nothing. No signs of a struggle, no note, no digital trail. It was like he vanished. That night, I couldn't sleep. At around 3 a.m., I heard something outside. A scraping noise like before. I looked out back and I saw him. James, or something that looked like him. He was standing on the tree line, completely still, but his head was tilted way too far. Unnaturally far. And he was smiling. Wide. He lifted one hand and waved. I backed away from the window. When I looked again, he was gone. Tyler and I didn't wait. We packed our bags and left that night. Never stayed there again. A week later, they found James's body deep inside one of the drainage tunnels, miles away from our house. The autopsy didn't make sense. No trauma, no cause of death. He was just dead. His body showed signs of prolonged exposure to darkness and stress, like he'd been lost down there for days, but that's not possible. He disappeared one night and we saw him alive afterward, or something wearing his face. I've since moved across the country, far from woods and drains and creeks, but every so often I hear that scraping noise again, around 3 a.m., and sometimes I wake up with dirt under my fingernails.